Hi guys, Mama Mita here, and tonight I have a special recipe for you guys. This is a family recipe that we've had for many years. Many years. I mean, it goes back to great grandmothers. Not on my side, but on my ex-husband's side. And so I learned this recipe when I was a very young girl. My mother-in-law, she showed me how to make yogurt, how to make lemon. So, and this is a really old-fashioned type of recipe. So it's like we're not doing any measurements and stuff here. We are just simply using 4% milk and a little bit of yogurt. Like you can buy like one little small container of plain yogurt. And so what I'm doing is I'm heating up my milk now. So let me put the camera down so you can see how this is all going. Okay, so what it is now, I'm using a stainless steel pan or pot, and so I put the 4% milk in here, and I'm using 32 ounces of milk if you want to like really be exact on the measurements and stuff. So I'm just heating it up. It's starting to warm up now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to warm this milk up, and the old way was, when I was a young girl, about 19 years old, is I would take my little finger, of course you want to wash your hands really good, and I would put my finger in it and I'd turn it to 13 times, and on the 13th times, if I couldn't stand the heat anymore, I had to take it out. Okay, of course now I've gotten older, you know, and your hands get more desensitized because of all the cookings and burns, you know, and stuff, and touching things and stuff that were hot, so you kind of like you lose the senses. So I'm not going to really rely on that because I don't know, it might be off at my age, because this month I'm going to be 67, so yeah, it might be a little off. But that was the old way. We would just stick our finger in there and count it, like, and you do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Now to me that seems hot. So I'm going to turn it off. To me that seems hot. So technically you want it to be like 113. So I'm thinking it might be a little bit more than 113 because it seems like it's a little tad hot to me. So I'm going to turn this thermometer here on, or this temperature gauge here, and let's see what we got. Yeah, see, that's over 113. That's probably going to come out about 122. 118.5 so far. Okay, let's take it out. 119, 150. Okay, now let's put it back in. Okay, that's 118. We want it to be 113. So we'll wait a few minutes and let that kind of cool down. Keep stirring it to kind of cool it down. So put it like about 113. I thought that was a little hot, you know. But, so I would just turn my finger around there 13 times and okay, it's done. And then what I would do is I would add, for this amount of milk, you could probably add less. I had extra plain yogurt, so I would add that much yogurt, which is just one big of these, you know, serving spoons. And I would put that in there, and I would stir it around really good, mix it in. And that's all I would do. Stir it around, then take that out, and I would put my lid on it. So we're going to wait till that cools down so you see me do that, okay? Because I want to make sure you understand that this is it's just super easy. I've told so many people how to make this, and they text me back or they call me back and say, oh, wow, I can't believe how easy that was, and it came out so good. Yes, it does. And it saves a lot of money because the yogurt's really good. And then as we progress the days, like this is like a 3-day thing, but I'm going to put just one video. So the first day will be just putting it in, and then we will wrap it because it has to sit for, you know, overnight. So we'll wrap it until tomorrow, and then tomorrow I'll take it and open it up and just look at it, and then I'll put the lid back on it and I'll set it in the refrigerator so it sets. Then the next day we will bring it out, and it's yogurt. Then you can choose to put whatever you want with that at that point. Some people like a little bit of salt. Some people like a little salt, and then they put it in a bag and they hang it above their sink, and they let all the water liquid come dripping out till it becomes like cream cheese. That becomes a different stage. So this is what you're going to see, but it'll all come together as one video. So Anyway, let me just try to get this cooled down a little bit here. And it cools down pretty good. So here's the thing. If you overheat it, which I've done before, because, you know, kids are screaming in the background, because I had 7 kids. Kids are screaming in the background, they're running around the house, the dog's running around, everybody's running around, and it's like I'm trying to do this and trying to keep up with the kids. So if you accidentally boil it, hope you don't burn on the stove, because that's a nightmare to clean up. But anyway, if you boil it and it's too hot, or you heat it up and it's too hot, that's not a problem, okay? Let it cool down to the temperature, to the 113. Or till you can stand your finger to go 13 times. It's kind of fun to do the 13 times finger. You know, they didn't have, you know, the temperature gauge back in those days and stuff. And so they had to rely on whatever techniques they could do on their own and stuff. And it was pretty, I'm sure, pretty hard for them. When I visited Lebanon back in the 70s, it was tough. It was during the wartime. So it was really hard. And then when I went back in 1975, again, it was really tough. It was just sad things going on. And so I haven't been back since 75. It would be nice someday to go back again. I've often wanted to go back. Still have a lot of family that lives there. It's a beautiful country. Delicious food. Okay, so let's see now if it cooled down a little bit. Alright. Yeah, nope. I got 116. 116.8. Okay, we'll leave it for a couple more minutes. Okay, I'm going to stop the camera for a couple minutes then. Okay, so I'm back. Now, before we recheck it, I just want to make sure that you guys understand that on this yogurt starch that you use, like the one that's in the spoon, you want to make sure that is not a low fat. You want just a regular plain yogurt, like the Greek style stuff, the heavy fat stuff. Okay, so don't go low fat on that, because you want this to be really tasty. Okay, so you're going to use that, and you're going to just use, for this amount of milk, I could actually use less. I mean, I could use just half of this, you know, but it's okay. I have it, and it's like, why not? You know, that's fine. But this milk I used the 4% milk, which usually has a red top, and it cost me today $3.09. Now, if I want to go out and buy a quart of yogurt, plain really good yogurt, not the low-fat cheap stuff, then that's pretty pricey stuff, okay? So I can make a gallon of yogurt, you know, if I have my starter. And so once you make your yogurt, and you want to make sure that you save something behind, like a small cup like this, and don't use that. Put that in the back of the refrigerator, because that's your starter. So every time you make that, then that yogurt, that gallon of yogurt, is only going to cost you $3.09. And if you just use only half the yogurt, then it'd be half, you know, that $3.09. And then you could use the other as that cream cheese. I mean, oh boy, that's a big savings. That's a lot of money right there. My kids absolutely love it. The grandkids love it too. They love rice with yogurt mixed into the hot rice. They just love it because it makes the rice really creamy and kind of tangy, and the kids love that. They love it spread on pita bread, you know, and then you can take, once you make that yogurt, instead of buying that cheap stuff at the grocery store that, you know, that's got the mixed in fruit, whatever, I don't even do that. I just take like a tablespoon of jelly and mix it into the yogurt, and it's really good because it tastes just like mixed fruit, like the stirred up fruit in the yogurt. And then a lot of times, a lot of the people from Greece, they use the plain yogurt, and then they put on top of it honey, drizzle honey on top. Oh, that's delicious too. Oh my goodness, yes, that's really good. Yeah, I gotta stop thinking about food now. Okay, so let's test it and see what we get. Hold on. Okay, 113.5. I'm gonna go with that one. Okay, so I put it in, and I just stir it around. I could even use the whip, you know. That's what I've done in the past. That way it really gets in there. And that's all I do, okay? Now at that point, I put the lid on it, okay? Now put the lid on it, move it to the side. Now, wait just a second. Today's another rainy day here. Oh my goodness, boy does it love to rain. Now, in the old days, I put this in my closet. I hid it in the hall closet because it didn't want, because I had those 7 kids running through the house and dogs, you know, and the neighbor kids running through. I mean, boy, we at some point, I counted 13 kids that were staying in our house, you know. I mean, boy, we had a lot of kids, you know, in and out of the house. Okay, so I'm going to cover it up just like that. Now, usually when I made the yogurt, I made a big pot of yogurt because we use so much of it. So this is kind of strange for me because I don't usually do the handle, because even lately with the grandkids and stuff, I usually make a gallon of yogurt. Okay, but anyway, I just wanted to do it because I thought it'd be kind of fun to do this and let you guys learn something easy to make and inexpensive, and you could enjoy it too. So that I'm covering it up with the blanket. All right, and that's all I'm doing. Now you want to take this, the whole thing like this, you're going to lift it up very carefully, and you're going to put it somewhere safe in a dark area where it's not going to be touched or moved around. Yeah, it's going to be kind of hard because we're in an RV and we do move around, kind of like a little bit of a mini earthquake sometimes. Hopefully it won't affect it. I guess we'll see what happens. But anyway, but that's what you would do, okay? So then tomorrow I will come and pick it up and I will open it up and I will see how it's doing. If it's not doing good, then that means that the shaking of the RV affected it. But you would still know how to do it by me telling you the first step of this. So if you guys, there you go. So that's all we're going to do for today's yogurt lesson. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye now. Hi guys, good morning. Now this is part 2 of the yogurt making. So now the yogurt's been sitting overnight and I'm going to bring it out and we're going to open it up and see how it looks. So here we go. So I will have to say that I did have to move it from the first location because I was a little worried that it was maybe going to get into an area that I might actually bump. So I moved it over to the dining room table. And now we're going to open it up and see how it looks. Looks like it might have spilt a little bit out. Let's see. Oh, jeez. Okay. I think it'd be fine. I think it could have been a little bit more thicker, but that might be because the shaking of the RV. Sometimes the movement and stuff will affect that. But I think it would be okay. But normally, it's a little thicker than this. I don't want to shake it too much because I'm going to refrigerate it. So now the next step would be to simply just keep the lid on it and put it in the refrigerator and leave it till it gets really cold. So once it gets cold at that point, it's set. Yeah, it seems like it got a little shook. So that's the thing about when I put it in the closet when the kids were little and stuff, is because it was way away from all the action of the house and stuff, and it was covered up like what you saw there, and into the closet, and it stayed to the next day. So there was no movement stuff. But sometimes, being in an RV, we get a little bit of movement because of the high wind and stuff. So I don't think it affected it, but we're going to see how it works. I'm going to put it in the refrigerator, and then once it's cool, then we'll come back and we'll test it and see how it is. Good morning, everyone. Mama Mita here, and now I am ready to do the next step for the yogurt making. So now the yogurt's been sitting in the refrigerator and it's icy cold. So the next step I'm going to be doing is to bring it out. Now remember, this yogurt is with a 8% fat. So I've used a 4% milk for that. That's usually the red top. If you notice they got them in different colors, but just look and check it. Make sure that it's, the 4% milk. Now you could use, if you wanted it to be a little bit less, you could use 2%. I've seen people make it with non-dairy yogurt and stuff. I mean, it's just according to what you want to make. And sometimes what they'll do is they'll do that when they're on a boat and they have no refrigeration. So, they have to like really watch what they, use and stuff. So you can check that out and find out how to make that, because it's not really hard. All yogurt is a little time consuming, but you really get used to it. It's kind of like if, you want to have a picnic the next day, you marinate your meat and get everything ready, and you stick it in the cooler, and let's say you bring it out, and then you get ready to grill. It's kind of the same thing with yogurt. You do it by steps, and you allow yourself for, I would say, 2 days, because you need like 9 hours for it to be sitting, to ferment. And then after you bring it that it's been the 9 hours and it's been warm and stuff. So then you put it in the refrigerator. So you have to let it cool down. Once it's really cooled down, all the way cooled down, I just like to leave mine in the refrigerator for 24 hours. I mean, I don't mind that, because I've always got yogurt, so it's fine. So I'll leave it, and then the next day, now we're at that stage. We are bringing out the yogurt, and that's what I want to show you the next step is. Now, this is where it gets to be the fun part, because now you can do so many exciting things, and this is going to save you some money. I just want to tell you about this yogurt. Now, I like this yogurt. It's a plain yogurt, and I like it, and they come in different flavors. However, these they can get pricey, depending on what store you use. Now, you can go a cheaper brand of the low-fat yogurt, and that will run you about like $1.68, for a container like this at my store where I live. But some of those yogurts like these, and the more fancier ones, the more, I guess frilly name, whatever, they can get up to be $10 for one of these containers. So you are saving yourself a lot of money by making your own yogurt, and it's not hard. My little grandchildren that are twins, they know how to make yogurt, because I've made yogurt with them before. It's very easy. You guys can do it. I know you can. All right, so now we're getting to the yogurt now. Let's get this out. Okay, so now here's the pot, remember, and that's the yogurt. So now what I got to do, the first thing you want to remember to do, don't make that mistake, is you want to get your starter out. Meaning you want to have it ready for next time when you want to make yogurt. And aim this camera down a little closer. So when you're getting ready to make your next batch of yogurt, you need to have a starter. So, and you don't need a lot of starter, just a little bit, okay? That's enough right there. That's enough starter. Okay, then I put my little lid on it, and I stick it in the refrigerator. Now, you can do two things. If you like your yogurt like this, okay, if you don't like your yogurt like that, runny like that, then I'm going to show you the next step you can do to make it take out some of the liquid. So, but I want to just bring this past you. Now, you can take the yogurt. Now, you know how children like the flavored yogurt. You can take a little bit of jam, your homemade jam. You can see there's a jam video that I did with the mango jam, and you can do that. And then you put like a teaspoon of this jam in the bottom of the glass, right? And it's kind of like, the stirred up fruit. Kids don't know that. You don't have to tell them anything different, And then you take the yogurt and put that in there. Okay. And then you stir it up. And that would make it sweeter. Now, if you wanted this yogurt to be a little thicker, that's where I'm going to show you how you're going to do that to make it where it's less runny. Okay. So now And that's what you would give your child. But but with the yogurt, maybe a little thicker, or they could actually use it as a smoothie. Another thing that we like to do is we like to take the yogurt and put a teeny little bit of garlic in it when it's runny like this, and cut up some cucumbers really fine, and you can actually take the water out of those too by squeezing it and putting it in there. The Greeks like to make tzatziki, and it's really good. Okay, so put that on the side. Now, the next step that I want to show you, okay, so you see this kitchen towel, okay. What I do is I take, I take a piece of cloth, and I usually use like sheets, old sheets, okay? If you have an old sheet or an old pillowcase, old pillowcase works just perfect. Make sure it's clean, and then you're gonna make it about that size, like a large napkin size. Even if you have an old napkin, but you wanna make sure that the napkin or the fabric is kind of like what you would make a pillowcase out of. So now, you would take and you would lay it down like this at your sewing machine, and you would just sew straight down this way and straight across. And what you're making is you're making a bag. Now, you cannot go to the health food store and buy a nut bag. Well, I'll just buy a nut bag. You cannot do that because your yogurt will just run right through. It's not, it just will not work, okay? This is the way I learned how to make yogurt, and so you want to do this, okay? Don't use a nut bag, because you see how that's like where you can see through. Yeah, you don't want that. You want what I have done, and all I've used is I just used a recycled piece of, I don't know, maybe one of the kids' shirts, one of the grandkids' shirts or something, a piece of it. And so you see how I just stitched here? Even the sewing machine wasn't even stitching very well that day. And then I stitched down like that. That's all I do. It's that easy. Now, I know you men out there can do that, because when I go to the fabric store, I see a lot of men in the fabric store, and boy, they're buying that fabric. You got some men out there that know how to sew, so you know, you boys can do this. It's not hard at all. Then I take my pot. I have a pot like this. Now you see this here? I am going to tie my bag to hang down and drip in there. Now this is very old Middle Eastern style of making yogurt. And so now at that point, if I want this yogurt to have like a little bit of salt in it, I could add a little bit of salt. I could do a little salt if I wanted to, but I've got hypertension, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave it plain like this, okay? Because I can always add later whatever I want to eat. You'll understand when the next part comes up, okay? Because we got to drain the liquid from the yogurt. So now, at that point, I'm going to take and pour all of this into this bag. All of it. Because remember, I've already got my starter done. And then I'm going to pull it up. And I'm going to gather it like that. See how I'm gathering it? Almost like, okay, you see how it's already dripping? So I'm going to leave that for me, because I already have yogurt, the thicker yogurt made already. I'm going to leave that all day while I'm gone. And when I come back home, it's going to be the consistency of cream cheese. And that's what I want. So this is like right into homesteading, into like, you know, being on the farm. This is this type of thing. Because in the Middle East, you know, it's not like we've got electricity, just flip the switch and stuff like that, or we've got running water all the time. We got it really luxury here, because sometimes, you know, they have problems there and they don't always have it. So it's more like homesteading, like living off the grid. This is what this type of stuff is. And it works great for me. I mean, like, I just love it. I've been using this since the 70s. So now I tie this around here, around the little bag, and I'm not throwing my liquid away. I'm going to use that for bread making. The kids love to make this. My little granddaughter, she made a book about how to make yogurt. And it was really sweet. Okay, so now, and you see how it's running off? Now, what you could do if you wanted your yogurt to be a little thicker, let that run off some, and that would be just fine. That would get some of the liquid out, and then but I'm not throwing the liquid away. I'm going to come back home and I'm going to refrigerate that and use that for the bread. And that's all I do. And I let that just drain like that. And there's my starter. I'll put that in the refrigerator. Now, you guys, you know, this is what's really frustrating is, you know, you go to the store and you see these expensive yogurts and stuff, and then they offer them a little cheaper and stuff. Yogurt does not go really bad for a really long time. So when you get these dates that said, you know, and it says, oh, it's right close to dates, they start dumping these yogurts because, you know, people don't want anything out of date. But we, people that are older and stuff, we don't mind out of the date stuff. We don't, because I mean, like, we're old. We didn't, back in the 50s and 60s, we didn't worry about dates. We didn't have dates and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, are you kidding me? And in the foreign countries, they don't have a lot of dates either, because, you know, that's kind of like us Americans over here. You're like, everything's got to be fresh, 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 fresh. But yogurt's made from bacteria, people. You know, it's fermented. I mean, like, it's been sitting over, you know, what, 9 hours? And so, like, what the heck? Like, you worried about something being, like, out of date? Come on. Anyway, I had bought yogurt before, you know, and then it went, like, really past a date, maybe a month past a date. Big deal. I used it anyway. It was nothing wrong with it. It was perfectly fine. And when you're on the homestead, nobody's stamping the dates. They're writing them out in the magic marker. Okay, or keeping them in their little book, how to keep everything. But, you know, you go in there and their cellars, and they got all these things up on the wall. Boy, they better have everything dated, because some of that stuff might be pretty old, you know. Anyway, okay, so that is how you do that. That's our last step. And then the next thing we will do will be the opening of the bag and show you how this has come out to be like a cream cheese. And then what you can do with that, the wonderful things that you can make and eat with the cream cheese consistency of making it out of the yogurt. Okay, guys, thank you. We'll be back. Hi guys, okay, now we're at the final thing for the yogurt. So now this has been all day long hanging, so I think it's ready. This is usually how I would do it for myself and my family. So at this point, I'm gonna slip some gloves on, so that I, you know, because I might have to touch some of the cheese to get it out of the bag and stuff. So I put gloves on, and then I untie it. It seems like it's, okay, and it's not like, I could have went less on it if I wanted to, or less time on it, but I like it like this. I like it like the cream cheese style. And so what I do, if I can ever get it out of the bag, but it's been hanging all day, and so, you know, it'll be fine. All right, so it's coming out now. Okay, so now at this point, now let me position the camera so you can see it really good. There we go, right there. Okay, so now, okay, so I took the string off. So I'm opening the bag, and so when you open the bag, it's pretty much like, it's not like Jell-O. Let me see if I can get that. If I can get it in here where you can really see the inside of that. Okay, see how it's like cream cheese. So I'm gonna flip it out. Hopefully I position this the camera right so that you can see how easy this comes out. And you can even go drier because it still has a little bit of liquid in it, but I'm not gonna go drier. So I just flip it out, and what you want to do when you put this yogurt in the bag is you want to put it with the seam on the outside so it's smooth to come out of the bag. You're not trying to get it out of the seam. It comes out of the seam really easy. Okay, and then at that point is when I take and I go squeeze it down like that to get the last little bit of the cheese off. So now at this point, Then I just throw it in the sink and then I wash that bag and reuse it, okay? So that's how it is. Now, if you see me move my finger around, you see how smooth that is? That's like almost like a soft cream cheese. And so that's all you would do. What I'll do now is I'll take that and I'll transfer it in this little jar here, or this little plastic container. And I'm going to save the liquid that came off, and I'll use that to make bread with. So at that point, what we do usually is when we go to serve this, look at a little saucer out of here. When we go to serve it, we usually will put it like a little bit in the saucer. I'll show you a little demo of this. Okay, we'll put like a little bit like that. Maybe smooth it out a little bit. And then we have some olives. Usually they like green olives, or you can use the black Kalamata olives. And then we take the olive oil and we just put a little bit of olive oil on top. So, and then the olives. And so now, or you could put za'atar too. Now, you know the Italians, they like their balsamic vinegar and their olive oil mix, and they like to dip their bread. Well, this is the way they like to do this cheese, is they like to dip the bread with that, with the olive oil and maybe some olives in it, or the za'atar. Or you can take this cream cheese, I call it cream cheese, and you can take a tortilla, just like a plain tortilla that the Latino people use, or you can use pita bread, and you smear this on top of it. And you can slice some cucumbers, you can put a little bit of dill, chop up some dill, and you can put it on there. And you can roll it up, so it's like a big hot dog. And then they put a saran wrap around it, and so at lunchtime they take it with them to work, and at lunchtime they just eat that, and that's kind of a full meal for them. And the kids love it. I mean, the grandkids love it, my kids love it, I like it. You know, it's really great, and it keeps for a long time. There's no problem with it going like bad, like you have to use it within a week. No. This will stay for a while. And so if you wanted this to be even thicker, then you would leave it a little longer. So if you wanted it less, then you would leave it less time. So you see how that is? That's pretty thick. Anyway, that's how it goes. So you see, that's how easy it is to make the yogurt and to make the cream cheese from the yogurt. So now you guys, this is a very simple recipe. It's easy to do. I know you can do this. And if you like this video today, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Thank you guys, and have a great evening. Bye now.